Emperor Shi Huangdi of China was the first to unify the entire country under one ruler and under one dynasty. He was also known for constructing the Great Wall, building an elaborate mausoleum, and he also commissioned the creation of the Terracotta Army. One ruler doing so much and leaving a big impact on the political history of Asia and China as well. Let's dive in and learn a little bit more about this emperor. Shi Huangdi ascended to the throne when he was 13 years old as Yingzheng during the Warring States period. Now, China originally had different dynasties in charge of it. It had the mythological Jia dynasty, followed by the Shang dynasty, and then the Zhao dynasty. During that last dynasty, the nation started to fragment into different principalities, kingdoms of a kind of a feudalistic era. This then turned into a time where they were fighting against each other for 200 years, known as the Warring States period. Now, Shi Huangdi's nation, known as the Qin nation, was positioned on the western edge of the 7 different states of China that had been fighting against each other for centuries. Shortly after assuming power, he expanded his territory, taking over other states through warfare, bribery, and annexation. Shortly after taking complete control as an adult, Zhang had to put down a coup led by his mother's partner, Lao Ai. The coup had led Zhang to exile the head of his government, Liu Bei, who he theorized was possibly his actual father. However, Zhang's mother was placed on house arrest after the incident, and her children with Lao Ai and Lao Ai himself were killed. In 221 BCE, the final state of Shi fell to Zheng, officially ending the years of expansion and putting all the nations under one ruler. For the first time in history, China was unified as one state. When this feat was achieved, Zheng changed his name to Shi Huangdi, first sovereign emperor, as he thought he was starting a lineage that would last for 10,000 generations. Shi Huangdi ended the feudal privileges, or the lords, as he initiated a new system of government known as legalism, which forced people to strictly observe the laws made by the Qin leadership and the Qin leadership alone, not those of the lords, and not those of any nobility or anybody else, for example, a warrior king. Now, to protect his northern border, Shi Huangdi began constructing the Great Wall. The wall stretched across the edge of the northern frontier, and the project was arduous, as an estimated 40,000 people died during its construction. Yet this was not the only massive construction project going on at the time. He also had a giant mausoleum that was built to house Shi Huangdi in the afterlife. It is said that he had rivers and lakes of mercury run through the giant complex. It is something that was, after his death, buried, and so we have not unearthed it, and we have not had archaeologists or other people go inside the mausoleum. However, with testing the soil around it, we do know that it has a high concentration of mercury. Now, however, while the structure is rivaling the pyramids of Egypt, we still don't know a lot about it. Now, Shi Huangdi, in his life, started to actually fear death, as he felt that angry spirits would want to seek revenge on him for his actions on Earth. To address this threat, he built a spirit army to protect him with full armor and weapons. This was his terracotta army, life-size, and actually maybe a little bit taller, clay soldiers that were going to serve as his army. He also had other items built out of clay, for example, cranes and acrobats and horses that would assist him or entertain him in the afterlife. Now, Shi Huangdi died early at the age of 49, most likely due to the fact that he took mercury pills to try to extend his life, which brought it to an early end. When he died, fighting among his sons caused a civil war, and a younger son killed his entire family and took the throne. Yet he was a puppet to the other officials and was not prepared to handle a civil war brought on by the harsh conditions of Shi Huangdi. Now, all of these great, massive construction projects actually pulled people from the fields, and famine gripped the land. And with that, you have a civil war get unleashed the minute that Shi Huangdi had died. And we have evidence of this, for example, in some of the pits with the terracotta army soldiers and their weapons. Now, eventually, Liu Bang won the war, and he actually starts the Han Dynasty, ending very quickly Shi Huangdi's dynasty and the Qin Dynasty, which Shi Huangdi thought was going to last for 10,000 generations, but really just lasted for himself and a little bit of his youngest son.